big news is finally here. The former Dark Zero roster with Zer0 and Genburten, and this free agent guy coming from TSM who's no longer signed to TSM, ImperialHal, but was never really formerly on the Dark Zero roster. Well, now it is all summed up under the assumption, honestly, that I think we all had. Unfortunately, I was working on this story literally minutes before it got released. Sadly, I didn't get to leak or break the news. The official team did themselves. But a lot of big news coming out of this. And what does this mean for Dark Zero? Well, if you guys haven't seen it already, Dark Zero comes out to say multi-world champions and the Giants of Apex. Thank you, Zer0 and Genburten, for an incredible 2 years that you guys have impacted Dark Zero forever. There will never be enough words to describe how much you guys both mean to us. No matter what you do or where you go, we will always be rooting for you. Along with their departure, we're also saying farewell to Sykes, ZZ, and Privacy. Your dedication and hard work have been invaluable, and we wish you all success in the future. Thank you for everything as well. So we had our official story on the ApexGlobalSeries.com website, and this kind of dives a little bit deeper into some of these things. So here's kind of like where we got a little bit of a wind of this today. So the actual chairman of Team Falcons, this is the announcement that we had, was basically like, okay, we see this guy just landed in Dallas. We know that Hal and Zer0 are in Dallas. We think Jin's there as well. I think they went to see a Dallas Mavericks game last night also. So it's like, okay, you know, are they meeting up for something? I also hear that there's something going on with Overwatch right now that, you know, maybe he's involved in. Nonetheless, it's hard to imagine that these guys did not get together on the day that they make the announcement, right? So what exactly was going on? Well, Team Falcons did come out. And by the way, if you guys are not familiar with Falcon Esports, Team Falcons is a Saudi Arabia organization. Of course, they are involved with, and you'll see, that's why you'll see some, you know, if you saw this post thinking, what in the world is this language that they're speaking? Yes, this is not a North American organization. To answer your question, I've been getting a lot. Yes, they are still obviously going to be competing inside of North America. So this Saudi Arabian organization is very, very wealthy to my understanding. According to my source, they are the only Saudi Arabian organization that could actually even afford this roster. So they announced Legends Unite, introducing the ultimate trio. It's Hal, it's Genburten, and it's Zer0. Notice though, there was no Raven, there was no ZZ, there was no Privacy. So I'm unsure if their coach is still going to be ZZ. I would imagine so. I mean, why would you get rid of ZZ at this point? And then also on the flip side, you know, where's Raven going to go? We'll talk more about that in just a second, but I guess at the end of the day, it is a possibility Raven could eventually come over to this side of things as well. Privacy is another one. He's just been with these guys for so long, so much success with that roster. Why would you, you know, part ways with what you've been working with that's been doing good for quite some time? Now let's talk about Dark Zero. They are an esports team, and their future, obviously, in the ALGS remains uncertain. Now, we know that they're still part of the EA Partner Program, so everybody's been like, oh, they're going to stay, right? EA Partner Program. Well, we've seen that that doesn't necessarily hold up. Optic Gaming have left as well, and many others. XSET has stepped away, and some others as well. So it's just like, you know, what does that really mean at this point? Of course, we never really know, but I think all of us are very, very curious to see what coach they're going to sign. The options, I would say, are pretty limited for this high caliber standard. I would say it's limited to ZZ or Raven at this point. I can't imagine someone else being worthy of this spot, I guess, if you will. I think there's some great coaches out there, but I think that these guys are going to go with someone who's been in that championship victory lane quite a bit, and ZZ and Raven are the only guys that I honestly could think of. So I would probably say one of those. I would also say that maybe you see Privacy stick around. Not sure of another analyst that would really make sense for this roster, but what could Dark Zero potentially look at doing? Well, so let's start talking about some of these other rosters that they could pick up. Now, another thing to point out here, just imagine the bag that these guys got to leave. Dark Zero and TSM, right? Probably the two biggest organizations in the Apex scene. You know that that money had to be literally insane. Like, if I had to guess, maybe 20K plus for each of these guys a month, somewhere in that ballpark area. I know it's got to be a crazy check, to say the least. So what other organizations are making moves, and what other of these organizations are going to be targeting different rosters? So before we talk about the Dark Zero one specifically, let's talk about the other changes that are happening. Gaming Gladiators, right? We know this roster with Nano, Louis, and Geyser, and Coach Dutch. I really like this coach. I like the team as far as, like, you know, this is another roster that not a lot of people believed in. They've had good moments. Nothing necessarily long term, I guess. I understand the change, but doing this in the middle of a scrim was kind of crazy. So they announced that they were going to be parting ways with their team. Now, there's another storyline to follow here. And that is the fact that Nocturnal from former XSET has posted that he signed. 07 posted that they signed. Some others have said, you know, like Gent said with the tripods, and Volt also said with the tripods that they were talking with people, that conversations were being had. Nothing was signed yet. Is this going to be an instance where we see maybe Gaming Gladiators sign Nocturnal's team, or 07, or what? You know, there's plenty of other rosters to choose from. Will Dark Zero go after the tripods? Will Dark Zero go after, you know, some of these other rosters that are now available? Or what about Skidmark? Obviously, Skidmark is a very high sought after team. Now, don't forget, in the past, Noct from former Optic Gaming, now playing with Dropped, and then also Raven was coaching that team not long ago. This is a very talented roster, right? With Shubi as well. These guys are probably the best free agent roster up there with XSET as well. Will Dark Zero go after a team like that? It is very, very likely, very probable, right? They're coming back to Pro League. They have a very good track record with their coach that seemingly would be involved if it is going to be Raven, right? We saw the trials were existing. We know that Noct said he had a good org opportunity lined up. I'm sorry, but I don't think Noct was saying that. No offense to Gaming Gladiators. I think it was with Dark Zero or something of that caliber, right? It's someone that you're going to talk about. I don't think that necessarily any org that's willing to pay is a good org opportunity. The way you worded it, it just sounds like it's an org that we know, we love, that's been around, that definitely has some weight in the community. So GG, obviously, we love organizations getting involved, but I just don't think that they're on that level quite yet. And we'll see, obviously, as time progresses, who is going to be there. Now, XSET is not a team you can ignore, right? These guys have not only qualified for the Esports World Cup, which, by the way, is another reason to look at GG. They are an ESWC partner team. Maybe it makes sense to go after this former XSET team, but XSET has not only been doing good with qualifying for ESWC, but also getting very good scrim results as of late. XSET getting first in the first set of scrim results that we had yesterday. Also, Not Moist, Ape Gang in top 3, Vanity in 4th, Weave in 5th, Disguise the most hated, CCE, LG, NGNL, TSM, Skidmark, Elevate, SSG, Cloud9, Gaming Gladiators, Yup, Edgers, Oxygen Esports, and Eternal EC. Still worried a little bit about Oxygen, if I'm being honest with you. Also, now in the second set of scrim results, you had Team Liquid in first, Elevate in second, Not Moist in third, back-to-back top 3s for those guys. Yup, Furia, SSG, Weave, Temper, Gaming Gladiators in 9th, Tripods in 10th, Skidmark in 11th, Edgers in 12th, Vanity, Oblivion, XSET, Stallions, Cloud9, Most Hated, Disguised, and Native. So obviously you've seen both sides of this coin, right? XSET at the top, XSET towards the bottom, Elevate at the bottom, now Elevate at the top. It's hard to really look at this. Of course, we're going to cover this. It's stuff to talk about. This is the latest of how these teams are performing, but it's never one thing to look at this and just take it to the bank and say this team's the best right now. But I guess it is always still valid. Now, although E8 had some pretty good results, right? They did pretty good. They also did pretty bad. You did get their official announcement today saying that thank you for all of your hard work and dedication. Bright futures ahead. They have parted ways with Talmadge, Zap, and Shubi. Not really sure why they put this out of line, but Talmadge is over here, Shubi's here, and this would be Zap. Not sure why they did it like that, but very talented roster to say the least. I'm really surprised that they are making a change, because I know that there were opportunities out there that they were trying to explore, but dropping Shubi just didn't make sense to me. Zap, such a good talent. Obviously, he should be signing to TSM any day now. Very interested to see where it all falls into place, but these guys now available. Then you have Designful saying the Baldy survives again, right? There's been so much hate for Zach over the last couple of years since the fall off stuff with Cloud9 and then having to rebuild his career back. He's been doubted quite a bit, and I get it, right? You know, of course, now the pros saying all of this is a lot of, you know, friendly banner, no big deal, but a lot of the fans really believe that. They really have problems with the past of Zach, and is he worthy now that he's proven himself? What is he doing? Why is he making this change? But honestly, I think building the team around Zach, it's one of those things that, you know, when it's an IGL like that and he's proven himself and he's come back at the way that he's come back, he's got the pass like he's got, you know that he's willing to put in the work to get better. And so I like the idea of just really, really supporting someone. And honestly, you can throw shame, you can give flack to E8, but this is what we want to see in esports, is people believing in each other, organizations believing in people, and you really identify yourself with that brand, that organization, rather than just chasing the dollar, and the grass is always greener. Everybody's changing rosters all the time. So that's just my personal opinion. Also worth mentioning that Elevate has also added Loopy as a coach to their roster as well. It says Lupu. I actually messaged him to make sure it was him. He did confirm. So obviously Loopy's got a big resume, being second place at the World Championship last year with Optic Gaming. I know that a lot of people had backlash to say that he joined in on an already successful team. He didn't have to change much, blah, blah, blah. But you can't ignore the fact that of a really good result of a team that he was a part of. So Elevate obviously seemingly going in the right direction. I do like what they're doing. Slayer is someone who's got a fire under him after, I guess, all the news that came out about how he was the weak link or whatever. He wants to prove himself, and Slayer's a great player. So I like him under the leadership of Zach Mazer. I think the E8 roster, despite making weird decisions and probably shouldn't have got rid of Zap and Shuby to begin with, I do like, for some reason, I still like where they're going. I still think it's a good idea. So also wanted to mention, now that Nine Lives is entering back into the Apex scene, they did announce their new Apex Legends team manager, which is going to be Chrono, which, if you guys are not familiar, is already co-founder and CMO over the Oversight Esports, which is running all the scrim results and such. So very excited to see where this one goes, and I'm excited to see their roster announcement that's coming on later today. So stay tuned for that one. Of course, you can follow our Twitter updates and ApexGlobalSeries.com website as well. There will be roster locks. I would imagine that, considering their caliber and getting Chrono, that they're going to go for a Pro League team, not necessarily a Challenger Circuit team, but maybe they don't. Obviously, time will tell. Fallout posted critical updates to be aware of. The ALGS roster mania continues, but you have roster locks coming very soon. This is literally tomorrow. No, this is today. The roster locks are today. So these guys have got to finalize rosters. You should be getting announcements probably today, I would imagine, for many other teams. So of course, make sure you're signed up over on our ApexGlobalSeries.com website. You don't got to sign up. I don't know why I said that. Just go visit it or follow us on Twitter as well. Lastly, got to mention some drama as well. So Apex Legends Women's Series, unfortunately, has been a topic for drama for quite some time. Not only have we seen hundreds recently saying that all these, women pros have got to stick together. It's starting to get really hard to get teams to sign up because they're changing rosters so much. It's really hard to keep it all organized, I guess, with how much they're changing rosters apparently. But you've also got some unfair actions that were taken against them a while back. So last year, about a year to date, these girls played in tournaments, and this was like $100,000 women's Galaxy, her Galaxy tournament that was going on. And if you're not aware, according to a lot of people in the comments here, it seems like you have to go through EA if you're going to host a tournament more than $10,000. And so EA must have greenlit this idea, must have had some sort of proof that this was a legitimate tournament. And so it came out 11 hours ago that sources have told TEA, the esports advocate, that Galaxy Racer has closed Dubai headquarters in March, and the CEO, Paul Roy, has left the country. Meanwhile, winners inside of the 100K Her Galaxy Apex Legends Open that concluded in June still have not been paid. Of course, we went through all the drama. It had been 180 days and it never came through. What's going to happen? We never got a response. All this blah, blah, blah. It was unfortunate. And Scurry had pointed out the fact that Apex Esports has been quiet about this is wild. Of course, there's been zero to little communication besides the odd messages every 6 months asking if they've been paid yet. Any tournament over 10,000 has to go through EA and Respawn first, from what I'm aware of. So even if they were looking at this on the legal side, these girls need more updates. They've worked towards this for months, took time off school, their jobs, and just their lives, and it's been like a year now. It's just crazy that it hasn't been sorted out yet, both on EA and Respawn's end and the tournament organization as well. So very unfortunate news coming out from them. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on all the topics down in the comment section below. Is Team Falcons really doing the right thing by signing the super team? Seems like a lot of people do not agree that they're worth the price that they seem to be putting on. Although I do think that they will be an amazing team this year. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Also, don't forget, along with the roster lock today, we should, I think, be getting at 8 p.m. Eastern the POI draft today for the first set of matches of Pro League on June 1st. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.